You're much more likely to seek addiction treatment because you want to, rather than because others are pressuring you. Certainly, there's nothing wrong with wanting to get clean for your children or your spouse or in order to keep your job. However, these should be secondary motivators. You see, when you enter treatment to please others or to get them to stop badgering you, you may end up resenting them, both while you're in treatment and later on. That can make you resistant to the treatment process, as well as serve as a trigger for future relapse. The most powerful motivation should come from within, from knowing deep down that you deserve a better life. A sense of self-worth will also help you stay clean and sober down the road. This is because one of the greatest triggers for relapse is low self-esteem. If you start entertaining painful thoughts of being a failure or a loser, it's going to be very tempting to numb the pain by using again. AJ, anything to add to recognizing your value as a person?
I think it's very important that you just described my first 44 days. I went in treatment for all the wrong reasons, and all it did was make me angry. And it made me realize that, having to realize that you have a problem makes you even more resentful, not only against other people, but against yourself. It wasn't until I got in and I was in it for me that it worked. But even then, having to face the demons and having to face all of the wreckage that I caused, made me feel less of a person. And there were times where I didn't want to deal with all of that, and I didn't want to see all of that, and I wanted to quit. But I knew what the circumstances and the consequences were going to be if I did.
Yeah, you have to realize that you are better than your addiction. And I don't care who you are on earth, you are better than your addiction. No matter what kind of hold it has on you, no matter how badly it's hijacked your brain, the objective of recovery is to recognize that you have good self-worth, that everybody here on earth has a purpose. Even if we don't know what it is, we have a purpose. We are part of a scheme, a grander scheme of things.
You're not a bad person, you're a sick person. And that, I think that for me, that's what made me finally realize that this was possible. Because I had caused so much records for so long that you're right, my self-esteem was very, very low. And I was filled with self-loathing that I didn't even know about.
Yeah, we have to break down those barriers. And sometimes a plain old recovery program can't do that. Some of us, including me, needed professional help on top of it to help dig down deep and find out why we were feeling and doing the things we were. And I started therapy in 1993 and have been steadily going since. But we had to really dig deep. Just remember.
That digging, like the big one, but it's a process that you have to go through. Those underlying reasons as to why you do what you do. And if you're not willing to do it, if you're just half stepping it for other people, then it's not going to work.
And we say it over and over again. You have to get to the underlying reasons why you turn to addiction. What are you burying so hard? What hurts you so much that you have to numb the pain? And that's what you have to get to. It's a fact. You have to be able to dig that out and get rid of it in order to move on. All right. You're ready to make changes in your life was step 2. It's human nature to resist change because Lord knows addicts hate change. No. We tend to like what's familiar and comfortable, even if it's not all that great or not what we really want. Change means we have to move into unfamiliar territory, and that's really scary for a lot of people, especially for addicts. Yeah. After all, There's a reason you started using in the first place, and it probably included the desire to escape from something unpleasant in your life. Facing the unknown, especially without your crutch, can feel very much like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute.
Yeah.
Recovering from your addiction is going to be a huge change, and getting there will require changing many aspects of your life. These may include your friends, the places you frequent, your lifestyle habits, and possibly even your current residence or occupation. Addiction treatment won't be very helpful if you go right back to the environment that led you there in the first place. The more you can embrace the idea of making positive, empowering changes in your life, the more beneficial treatment will be. AJ?
Alcoholics and addicts are the original Houdini. We are, because that's all we want to do is escape. But the problem with that is, for all the years that we do it, it builds up. And then when you go into recovery, you have to deal with all of that you escaped from first.
Very
and
true.
It makes things a lot harder. Change is something, I still don't like change, and I've been sober almost 5 years. But I do realize that the only thing in life that is constant, that is never changing, is change.
True. How sad is that?
It is.
You know, they say you have to, you're born, you pay taxes, and you die. And what else? You have to deal with change along the way.
Yeah.
Wow. You're right on the money on that one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're willing to take responsibility for your situation. That was number 3.
No.
Yeah, that was number 3. Excuses and blame are common aspects of addiction. You may feel that others caused your situation, your parents, your spouse, the babysitter that molested you as a child, and so on. If it wasn't for that person or that event, you wouldn't be an addict today. Unfortunately, that's a victim mindset, and it will hinder you from making necessary changes in your life. It will also make you very vulnerable to relapsing. The moment you decide to take full responsibility for the choices you have made and for the direction you take from this point forward, everything will change. You'll view your addiction differently. You'll be more receptive to the treatment process, and you'll be much more likely to stay clean and sober once you leave your addiction treatment program. Now, what we're saying is you can't forget what was done to you, whatever the event was. What we're telling you is, remember, it was an event. It was a moment in time. And the rest of your moments in time are paying for that one event. Nobody's saying it's easy. Nobody said that it didn't happen. Nobody's telling you to get over it. What we're telling you is that you have to deal with it for what it is and move on. You make a conscious choice to not allow that one event to define you. You are so much more than that event. You are capable of so much more than what was told to you, drilled into you, and the only one that can change that is you. And as addicts, we don't like change. We like the comfortable part. AJ, anything to add to that?
I think that the things that are done to us become our excuses. But in reality, yes, unfortunately, things may have happened, but it's our choice to choose and run away from it. It's our choice not to deal with it. It's our choice to pick up. And it isn't until you change that habit that things are truly going to change. You know, alcohol or drugs become like our whoopee. And we hold on to them, and we hold on to them until there's nothing left to hold on to.
Correct. And Freddie just asked, do you find addicts blame other diagnoses they may have, for example, bipolar, depression, borderline, etc., even when they are clean and sober? Yes, we definitely play the blame game. Anything is an excuse. Period. Anything and everything is an excuse. Now, I wasn't diagnosed bipolar until 93. However, my addiction started 1979. So there was no blame there. On that note, we are going to our next commercial break, brought to you by Trans Life Matters, specialized in transgender, opiate addiction, elder abuse, grief and loss, individual and couples therapy, relationship conflicts, infidelity, depression, and anxiety in the greater Tampa Bay area. You can find them quicker and faster at rainbow411.com. We'll be right back.
The Hope and Help Center envisions a world without AIDS, achieved through our mission to save lives by treating and preventing the spread of HIV/AIDS in the Central Florida community. We have been providing prevention education, care, and services to our neighbors in need for more than 23 years. Get a free test and know your status. Are you positive you're negative? Call 407-645-2577 or visit us at www.hopeandhelp.org.
Did you know that of the 1.3 million homeless kids in the U.S., 20% are part of the GLBT community, thrown out of their homes by families who don't accept who they are? These and the other forgotten homeless youth have a hard time staying in school, and without this education, they'll likely spend a lifetime struggling in poverty. YouthLift is a non-profit organization that offers tutoring, mentoring, and other resources to help these kids stay in school. To make a difference in their lives, please visit youthlift.org to volunteer or to help donate.
This is Dario, and you're listening to GSHradio.com.
And we are back with Pit Stop. AJ?
Hi.
Yay, I still have you. Okay. We have a couple of friends in the chat room now. Thank you for joining us, guys. Okay. We are talking about a winning mindset now. So we just finished up, you're willing to take responsibility for your situation. And we are going to move on to, you're able to imagine a worthwhile future. There have likely been times in your life when, because of your addiction, you couldn't see a worthwhile future. You felt stuck and hopeless. The dreams you once had faded into oblivion. Everything looked bleak. Perhaps it still does. This element of a winning mindset is probably the most important one to have if you want to get through your addiction treatment program successfully. Without it, you're very likely to fail. You see, how you perceive the future determines the actions you take today. If you can't see past tomorrow, or if you think a better life is simply out of reach, then you won't be motivated to change or try something new. And you'll want to keep using in order to numb that painful sense of hopelessness. The good news is that no matter how bleak things may look today, you can have a bright tomorrow. Countless people are just like you. The people who once thought they had no future recover from their addiction every day. And so can you. The sooner you can imagine a future that's worthwhile, the more motivated you will be to work your treatment program and start moving towards that future, a future free from the chains of addiction. AJ, anything to add to that?
I'm contemplating.
You're what?
I'm contemplating.
Contemplating. Well, think about it.
That was very, very deep. And it's too early in the morning for you to be so deep.
Listen to you. Listen, all you need to do is make sure that you understand that tomorrow can be better. It's not a matter of wallowing in your self-pity. Get off the pity pot. What's done is done. You cannot change it. No matter how hard you try, you cannot change the past. It's not available to us.
People say that you only get one chance at life, but that's not necessarily true. You get a chance every single day. It's called tomorrow.
Exactly.
What you do with it is completely up to you. If you keep doing the same things that you've always done, you're not going to get anywhere.
Isn't that the truth? You have to be able to change your mindset in order to have a better future. If you stay stuck in the past, that's where you're going to be. Stuck. You have to be able to feel it, believe it, understand it, cope with it, deal with it, and change it if you're going to have a better future. All right, AJ, anything to add before I move into the art of mental training?